Federal Ministry of Health earlier on noted that about 39,000 Nigerians are vulnerable to the coronavirus pandemic. In light of this, President Muhammadu Buhari ordered a lockdown of some susceptible states to cut down the speed at which people can be infected. Now, to what extent can this be achieved, and what roles can the individual play in this regard? Panorama today will be explaining this, as well as the clinical implications of the lockdown on Nigerians. I am Dotun Okunyemi. We'll be right back after this. Now, 4 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in Nigeria, 3 in Osun and 1 in Ogun State, bringing the total number in the country to 135 cases as at 11:15 a.m. today. Now, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, who disclosed this on its COVID-19 website, also says that of the new cases, Lagos has 13, 4 in the FCT, 2 in Kaduna, and 1 in Oyo State. Now, for a breakdown of the cases by states, Lagos, the epicenter of the virus, has 81, FCT 25, Oyo 8, Ogun 4, while Osun and Kaduna have 3 cases each. Now, Edo, Bauchi, and Enugu have 2 cases each, while Ekiti, Rivers, and Benue States still have only their index cases. Now, so far, 2 deaths have been recorded, while 8 persons have been successfully treated and discharged. In exercise of the powers conferred on him by Sections 2, 3, and 4 of the Quarantine Act, Cap Q2, LFN 2004, and all other powers enabling him in that behalf, President Muhammadu Buhari Monday signed the COVID-19 Regulations 2020, which declared COVID-19 a dangerous infectious disease. The regulation, effective March 30th, 2020, also gave legal backing to the various measures outlined in the President's national broadcast on March 29, 2020, such as restriction and cessation of movement in Lagos, FCT, and Ogun State, and others towards containing the spread of the pandemic in Nigeria. Now, in addition to ensure that Nigerians can still perform online transactions and use ATMs while observing these restrictions, exemptions is granted financial system and money markets to allow very skeletal operations in order to keep the system in light operations during the pendency of these regulations. And in the meantime, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has further cleared the air on the proclamation by President Muhammadu Buhari on the restriction of movement on account of COVID-19. The Attorney General, responding to the criticism by Mr. Olu Adegborua, SAN, explained that the declaration by the President is valid, legal, and enforceable. He said the step taken by the President is not only patriotic, but in overriding national interest, is erroneously being subjected to attack for allegedly being illegal. Ebun Olu Adegborua, SAN, had claimed that the President lacked the powers to restrict movement in any part of the country without the consent of the National Assembly. Abubakar Malami noted that the President did not make a declaration of a state of emergency under Sections 305, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which would have required the concurrence of both houses of the National Assembly. He further affirmed that Sections 305, subsection 6b of the 1999 Constitution as amended permits a proclamation of a state of emergency to run for a period of 10 days without the approval of the National Assembly when the Parliament is not in session, as in the present situation wherein the National Assembly has shut down. The President, he said, sought to address in his broadcast a public emergency occasioned by dangerous and infectious coronavirus disease. The restriction of the movement came on the heels of advice received from the Federal Ministry of Health and the NCDC, making the order a part of a national quarantine measure. And as the total lockdown order by President Muhammadu Buhari takes effect, Doyin Dia also monitored some areas in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Doyin, what's the situation where you are?
Thank you for joining me, studio. As early as 11 p.m. Monday night, the total lockdown as announced by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, took effect, with security agencies already manning their guard. And this morning as well, that was also sustained as early as, say, 6 a.m. They were already on the streets also to ensure that there is total compliance to the order given by Mr. President. And all of this, remember, is part of the measures put in place by the government of Nigeria to ensure that people stay at home, while people who are saddled with the responsibility of controlling the further spread of COVID-19 take their position and implement all their works as expected. And of course, I can see some skeletal activities, vehicles moving. I can see police vans also moving, and other partner security agencies that are working in collaboration with the Nigerian police force to ensure that this order take its proper effect. Well, it's just about 10 a.m. this morning. I will be moving to other location to ascertain the level of compliance, but this is Katampe Banex Expressway, and as you can see, vehicles are moving once in a while, and perhaps those are some of the essential workers that are exempted. And these are the informations available to me at this hour. As development unfolds, I assure you that we'll turn it in. Over to you.
All right, thank you, Doyin. And Saliu Abdullahi is right now at Duse to give us a situation report on the compliance of the lockdown by the president. Saliu, how is the situation in Duse? We'll get back to Saliu in Dutse with that situation report. But in the meantime, all working journalists and other media staff in Lagos and Ogun State, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, have been advised to use their valid identity cards to access their place of work and assignment venues during the 14 days lockdown directed by the President in the two states and the Federal Capital Territory. In a statement signed by Segun Adeyemi, Special Assistant to the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said the clarification became necessary in view of the inadequate time to properly accredit working journalists in the affected states and the FCT during the period. He said members of the media are expected to continue to provide essential services during the lockdown in order to keep Nigerians well updated on the COVID-19 pandemic. And now we should be joining our clinical psychologist, Dr. Rita, who is on Skype right now to give us a situation. But I think we'll do that right after this break. Please don't go away.
People get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news Don't create it. Don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. Slavery is an evil practice abolished all over the world over 200 years ago. But today, human traffickers are selling human beings as slaves in Africa. It is your responsibility to make sure that you and the people you know do not fall into slavery. Don't believe fake promises of jobs abroad.
People went to say Libya, Italy no use you when they carry me on top water. 4 days now they lock me for inside house, no food, no water. I nearly die. Now God, when me heaven and earth, now save me. If you get 1 naira for Nigeria, you get junior one, you say you no get papa, you no get mama, that make you come out. I beg go they do farm work. You better pass person when enter road.
Don't accept to travel to Europe through the Sahara Desert. You may be walking into slavery. Don't be a slave.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Many thanks for rejoining us. Now, I believe Saliu Abdullahi is on standby with the situation report of the compliance at Dutse. Hello, Saliu.
Essential services alone. Yes. No, you're coming out. Never go.
And that was the situation report from Dutse. And now let's join our guest via Skype. She is a consultant clinical microbiologist from the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Dr. Rita Oladele. Are you there, Doctor?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Now, Doctor, the coronavirus pandemic is a highly transmittable disease. What should Nigerians be doing now that the lockdown is being observed?
Nigerians should understand that the lockdown is for their good. We need to break the chain of transmission of the infection. And to break the chain of transmission of infection, we must maintain safe distancing. Okay, so social distancing is key. We need to observe hand hygiene keenly. So the lockdown is for our good, for us to be able to break the chain of transmission.
And also, the NCDC says over 39,000 Nigerians are suspected to be vulnerable to the pandemic. How can government's directive of lockdown is it going to assist in tracing and tracking down some of these people with the virus?
Well, NCDC has been doing a tremendous job in tracking down these people, and they are well equipped for it. Nigerians should be supportive and come forward so that they can be tested, those that are being traced. It's not a death sentence. And the other thing is that you'll be helping your fellow Nigerians so that when they test you, and if you are tested and you are positive, you'll be treated adequately. At the same time, you'll be quarantined so that the infection is not transmitted to someone else. That way you are protecting others, and you're also helping to break the chain of transmission. That is why the contact tracing is key. To get those that are infected and to be able to break the chain of transmission, because the key thing here is to break the chain of transmission, to make sure the infection does not go to the next person.
Now, I don't want to say, but I think some Nigerians are still in doubt about the status of COVID-19. What are the general questions really being asked around this virus, and how can this